Welcome back, everyone, to episode 27 of the Minot Business Podcast, presented by Bennett Creative Media. I'm your host, Easton Bennett, and with us today, we have Kari Edholm. That's how you pronounce the last name, right? Edholm?
Yep.
Kari, how's it going today?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I cannot complain. It's a little cold outside. That's probably the only thing I'd complain about. But as always, we're going to get right into the show. We're going to ask you, what do you do? For the people that don't know, they've never met you before, they've never heard of you. What do you do?
So I own Dakota Roasters Coffee Company, and it's pretty simple. I roast coffee and deliver it fresh to your door.
Oh, you delivered. I didn't even know that was part of it.
Yep. So
okay.
I'll sell wholesale to a couple places in town. And then if you buy on my website, you can also get free local delivery in the Minot and Surrey area.
Okay. So what are the local places in town that you do wholesale to?
Yep. So I sell coffee beans to Prairie Sky Breads downtown.
Okay.
And they sell my bags as well there. So you can get a coffee drink or a bag, just like that one right there.
Yep. And if you guys are listening to the show, go watch it somewhere because we have a bag on the set here. We'll put another, I'll take a video of it after and we'll put it a little bit closer up. But
Yep.
Sorry, continue.
Yep. And then I sell to Urban Gourmet, the station on Broadway, right across from Simonson's gas station.
Okay.
She has her own specialty roasts there. So she'll sell bags as well, but it's her brand basically of what I custom roast for her. And then Perky's, it's a little coffee kiosk up north by the airport.
So I know John Reese. I don't know if you know John Reese.
Yep.
He shares that all the time. I don't know if it's his girlfriend, wife, fiance, someone. He must be in contact with someone that owns that.
Yep, it's John and Krista that own that.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
So she has my coffee there, but they're a kiosk, so they don't have like a space to put bags out. So they sell coffee drinks. And then the market on 4th, she'll sell just bags.
Okay.
And she's kind of got a Pride of North Dakota area in there. And then Project B, I do a custom private label roast for them as well. So if you ever want to buy coffee from Project B, the proceeds will basically go towards their nonprofit.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
And then all the other places. So those are the local places. Everywhere else is out of town. So
gotcha.
Like in Botno or Fargo or Williston, that kind of area.
So I want to jump back to the beginning a little bit. We'll get into kind of how you got into those places and formulated those relationships. But how did Dakota Roasters become a thing? You know, what's the time frame look like?
Yep. So Dakota Roasters, I was not the original owner. I actually bought it from another couple in town. And so I work full time at another job. Mm-hmm. And then, and that is to help with the story here. So I work for Sherwin-Williams Paint Store, and I was in the store at the time as the manager, and the couple that owned Dakota Roasters, the husband bought paint from me. Okay. He was a painter for Minot Public Schools. So I found out he was roasting coffee. So of course I started buying his coffee for the store because it tasted way better than like the Folgers that we had at the pot and the K-cups that we had in the back room. And I heard a rumor that he was considering selling it from another contractor because, well, everyone in town seems to chat a little bit.
Especially in Minot.
Yep, I hear quite a few things at the store. So I brought it up to him and I said, well, what are you doing? Why are you considering selling the coffee business? And he was like shocked that I even knew what he was talking about. So we chatted for a little bit and then I said, okay, let me bring this idea up to my husband because I'm super interested in buying it. Yep. Because I've always wanted to own my own business. I just didn't know what. Mm-hmm. So basically that was January of 2020 was probably the beginning of the talks of buying the company. And then I spent a few months at their house learning how to roast and then officially became owner of May of 2020. Okay.
Because that's what I was going to ask you. Were you always business minded? You always wanted to start a business someday?
Yep. So I went to school for business management and finance. Okay. And that's always kind of been my thing. I've always wanted to own my own thing. It's just, I didn't know what. Yeah. And so, and I'm like your typical person that's thought of every idea of, oh, I could do this or I could do that. Like in college, I thought about starting a vodka business. I thought it was a really great idea, but I don't know how to make vodka. And then at one point I wanted a candle business. And I was like, oh, maybe I can do this. And then at one point I wanted to write a book, like a children's book. And I still want to do that someday. But I've always thought of these ideas and I'm like, gosh, I wish I just knew something that I wanted to own. And so when this idea got presented to me, it's like it clicked. I knew that's what I wanted to do.
But it was always in the retail world. You always wanted something to be where you're selling a product.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
What was the decision behind that based on a service-based business?
So I guess.
Or was there not much of a thought process behind it?
Not really much of a thought process behind it. I guess that's just what I'm used to.
Okay.
Because like at the paint store, I'm selling a product at the counter.
Yep.
For someone, which now I'm not in the store. I'm an outside sales rep, but now I'm outside selling a product. So I guess it just made sense.
Okay. And then coffee. So are you a big coffee fan? Have you always just loved coffee and then it just kind of clicked?
Yep. So I've always drank coffee, but I guess I've never really drank fresh coffee.
Okay.
So once I like had my first cup of their coffee, I was like, what have I been doing my whole life? Like, this is so much better. Cause I would usually just like pop in a K-cup or, it's at the store where I was just buying like Folgers at the front and then I would have like Caribou K-cups in the back.
Yep. It's just, it feels easier that way, but really it's not that much of a difference if you're having fresh coffee or, Folgers.
So I'd say like anytime that you buy coffee at a grocery store, like your Folgers, your Starbucks, your Caribou's, your Dunkin' Donuts, whatever it is, there's a really good chance that it's been sitting on the shelves for a long time. Mm-hmm. And they'll put it like however they distribute and store their coffee at their warehouses. They'll buy in bulk and then they'll distribute as it's being ordered. Where the fresh coffee I make, I actually recommend only people to buy what you think you're going to sell within a month. Okay. Because when 4 to 6 weeks, you do start tasting that the coffee gets a little stale. Okay. I mean, it's not undrinkable. You can drink your old coffee if you really wanted to. Yeah. But it tastes way better in the first.
When it's fresh.
In the first 4 to 6 weeks. Okay.
So going back to the business side of things, where did you find that entrepreneurial spirit? Did you always have that inside of you? Did a family member run a business? Where did that kind of stem from?
I guess I think I've always just had it inside of me. I remember having a conversation with my husband in the back of our deck, and he asked me one day, he's like, "What are you passionate about? Like, what do you enjoy doing?" And like for work. And I said, well, what I'm doing right now is I could probably retire and do that. It's whatever. Yeah. But I told him, I said, well, I'd love to own my own business someday. I don't know what. Yeah. So I guess I've always just had that thought process in the back of my mind. And it didn't come to me until I was in my 30s.
Yep. So as far as when you started the business, you're like, okay, let's run with this coffee thing. You mentioned this before about how fresh coffee is better than stuff that's been sitting there a while, the comparatives. Was there any other gaps in the market that you were like, oh, I can take advantage of this here? Was there anything else that's like, I can make my product better because of this?
I'd probably say North Dakota in general is really good about just purchasing local and Pride of Dakota type businesses. So I guess just owning a coffee business and having like the Pride of Dakota label on my bag, people just geared towards that, whether it be coffee or pizza or whatever they make out there. Yep. And then at some point in the future, I might be getting actually into K-cups. Okay. So because there's no other local roasters in North Dakota that do K-cups.
And I know that's a super popular thing for people. It's so easy to just pop one in, hit a button, and then you're done. So if you could somehow mesh the ease of that with your product, what does the process look like for that, for even starting to manufacture those K-cups? Probably a nightmare.
It's a little bit difficult right now because I'm reading up about it. I've been reaching out to other not local roasters, but small roasters across the U.S. Like there's a roasters page on Facebook. There's a couple of them. Okay. And so I've reached out to a couple other people that make K-cups, like what they're doing and how they're doing it, which brand K-cups they're doing, what machine they're using, if they're nitrogen filling them. So the K-cups that you see on the shelf, they usually flush those with nitrogen. So there's less oxygen in the cup. So it doesn't go stale. I do not
News to
have,
me.
I know, it's crazy. So I don't have a nitrogen flush machine. Those are really expensive.
You don't have one of those just sitting around
No.
in your garage or something?
So I just bought a automatic sealer. So I'm hoping that when it gets to that point where I'm able to distribute that, again, I'm just going to be telling people locally, only buy what you're going to be using in the next like couple months.
Yeah.
Don't be letting this sit on your shelf because there is going to be oxygen in it. And then if for some reason they get really popular, maybe I'll consider a nitrogen machine, but they're really expensive.
I believe it. And that's where equipment, we'll get into the equipment in a little bit, but as far as Pride of Dakota, what do you think the importance of, we've had a couple people on here that their product is part of Pride of Dakota.
Yep.
What do you think the importance of it is, being a part of that?
So I think it's really important. I probably don't utilize it as well as I should because I'm so busy with my other job and 3 kids. And so it's really good because there's resources out there. You get invited to certain like Pride of Dakota events where you can sell your products.
Okay.
Sometimes other Pride of Dakota companies are looking to, like, say they're starting a gift shop and they're looking for someone that roasts coffee or someone that makes hot cocoa or someone that makes, I don't know, candles or something.
Barbecue sauce.
Yeah, barbecue sauce.
That's one of I have a client in Fargo that makes barbecue sauce, and I literally can't keep it stocked in my house.
Which brand is that?
Big Deck Barbecue.
Oh, I think I've seen that around.
Oh yeah, it's really good, and their hot sauce is unbelievable.
Okay, so I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, so I went to Fargo and I found out that they're part of Pride of Dakota, and that was kind of my first. I mean, I kind of knew what it was because of Dot's Pretzels.
Yep.
And then I went there, and then he's like, "Yeah, we're part of Pride of Dakota." I'm like, "What is this Pride of Dakota thing?" So then I looked into it a little bit more, and I didn't even realize it doesn't even have to be like a retail product. It can be anything.
It can be anything.
Yeah.
Yep. And it seems like the state of North Dakota likes to support local. So if you're in other places, like especially Christmas time, I'm always getting hit up like, "Oh, are you doing any gift baskets? I just want to buy local products only." And usually I'm shifting them to like the Market on 4th has a bunch of Pride of Dakota. So like they might have that barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Would you say that the Christmas time, the holiday time, even around Thanksgiving is kind of the busiest time for selling the product?
Yep.
Okay.
I'd say basically the fall from September to December are my busiest months. And then January and February are pretty slow.
Well, then I'm glad I got you, fit you into the schedule here on the podcast then.
Yep.
Was there anyone helping you through the business startup? So obviously you transitioned from the previous owners to you owning it. For someone that's never started a business, how would you go about that transition period?
So the previous owners helped me quite a bit just on how they did certain things, how they ordered beans, how they invoiced people, the equipment, like where to look for that sort of thing. But I'd say since so I've been working for Sherwin-Williams for 10 years now. I was in the stores for 9 of those years. I'd say just my background of running the stores that I've been at and multiple states, multiple areas, that's basically helped me, just that experience of selling paint and selling coffee. It's essentially the same thing. It's just the coffee business is in a corporation. So there's a little bit more to it when it comes to like invoicing and if I wanted to hire someone, that process would look different, that sort of thing. So it's kind of the same concept, but there's still things I'm learning every day.
And I think a lot of people think when they're starting business, okay, I don't know anything, but you can pull from your experience from previous jobs. It doesn't have to be a previous business you own. Just like you said, if you're really good at sales, maybe you're a car salesman, and then you go start a company where you're selling fruit or whatever it might be.
Yep.
The sales that when you're selling cars, it's going to be similar to selling the fruit.
Super similar.
There's just minor differences. So, there is a lot of experience that people have that they don't really realize they have. So why is it, I can't even read what question I got. Oh, here we go. So what is it like selling a physical product versus a service or a digital asset? Obviously you don't sell like a digital asset or a service, but what do you think the differences are? The pros, the cons?
I guess selling a product, like you're going to actually hand it over and they're going to eat it, drink it, whatever, use it.
Yep.
I I guess I don't really know. Like a digital service or something else. That's more of an experience.
Yep. And I think it's more of kind of what I'm trying to hit is I assume it builds a better relationship with the end customer.
Yeah. So I'd say me handing off the coffee to, I guess I don't really see or talk to a lot of people like at the delivery. Like I leave it at their doorstep. They take it. If they have a problem with it, they'd reach out to me. If they don't, I just assume everything's good. So I guess that would be a downfall. Like you really don't know like if they like your coffee.
Yeah. As long as you don't get a bunch of bad reviews, then you can usually just say it's going good, right?
But like I think if you did like an experience or something, you would know if people are having a good time or not.
Yeah.
So
do you think people, especially in the Minot and surrounding areas, feel better about themselves shopping local? It's like, hey, I'm buying from this coffee place. I drink coffee every day, but I want to get it from someone local. Do you think that customer relationship is a positive? And have you seen that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And it does help that like all the places I sell to, the owners of those places are awesome. So like Prairie Sky Breads, the station, Perky's, when you're getting a cup of coffee from one of them, like everyone's always raving about the customer service. So it does help when I partner with local businesses that are like proud of what they do.
Yeah. And it's exciting when it's other local businesses. Obviously they support local too by supporting you. You're supporting them by selling there instead of shipping it off across the country or whatever it might be. But before we talk about any more questions, we're going to take a quick minute to hear from Midco. Is your business moving up and to the right? Put Midco's business technology to work for you so you never have a slow day at the office. From premium internet and phone plans to custom private networking and advertising, they have a solution for every type of business, large or small. Get paired with an account representative to create your suite of services and make the switch with ease with dedicated business client fulfillment and support teams. No data caps, flexible contracts with month-to-month or long-term options, built-in DDoS protection, and more. Explore services and request a free consultation at midco.com/business today. I'm a Midco user myself. I've loved Midco ever since I have, started using it when I bought my house. I work from home, so I have the fastest internet possible, and I've really never had a problem with it. So if you guys are looking to, check out some of their services, go to midco.com/business today. Let's get back into some of the questions. How do you get the word out about Dakota Roasters? So, how do you get people to find your product if they don't know where it's at? Obviously, you touched on selling it to local places, but is there anything else that, you get the word out there with?
Well, so I could be better at this, like marketing. I'm terrible at it. I don't post enough on social medias. So
it's difficult,
but it's difficult. And then I just had a baby 3 months ago. So it's a little scary posting stuff out there in case I overwhelm myself. Because I am the only one that roasts the coffee. My husband will help out, but, that's more like packaging, delivering, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So I could be better at marketing, Facebook, Instagram, those sort of things. But basically it's probably just utilizing the local places that sell my product. They push it. So,
and is that something where, I guess I don't really know how this works in the coffee world, but if you go to the station, are they selling your coffee and other people's coffee that is roasting, or is it just yours, or how does that work?
Nope, it's just mine.
Okay, well that's even better then, right?
Yeah, even better. So, if I was to get my name out there more in the future, it'd probably be just me reaching out to other businesses like out of town. Maybe in Bismarck and Grand Forks, because I'm not really in those areas right now.
Okay.
And so I'd probably reach out to like local gift shops or coffee shops or something, just to introduce myself. But some people just find me too. Like if you Google Dakota Coffee Company or something,
North Dakota Coffee,
I pretty much pop up at the top. So
well, that's good.
That helps.
That means you're doing something right, right? That's how I found you. I think I was on Instagram and it just popped up Dakota Roasters, and I was like, "What is this?" And then obviously, it was
probably one post I did in the last like 3 months.
See, and it hit me. It was perfect. You're like, I'm going to target this podcast. I go on the podcast. A bunch of people find out about it. So I want to talk a little bit about getting into these businesses. The relationships, you obviously had to build those relationships with the business owners. What did that look like? So maybe someone has a business and they're like, hey, I want to get my stuff into a store. What did you have to go through to do that? Shed some light on that experience.
So the station on Broadway, I reached out to them about getting my coffee in there. I pretty much utilized a mutual friend to get the name and owner of the business and try to get a hold of them. So I had
Which is Katie Simonson, correct?
Yep.
Gotcha.
So I know a couple people that kind of knew who she was. And so I got her information and reached out to her trying to push my product. And basically from the start, she kind of wanted to be different than anyone else in town. So that's where I brought up the idea like, well, I can make you your own roasts.
Yeah.
Like that's an option.
Okay.
Because she was looking at another coffee roaster, I think out of Fargo at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I said we could.
You're like, no, keep it local. Yeah,
keep it local. So like I'd be super easy because I'd just bring it to your shop.
Yep.
So we did a bunch of testing because they had like I reached out to them probably at the beginning stages of remodeling that building. So we had time to test coffee roasts. So basically, I took the different coffees that she already knew she liked and then tried to make her own version of something kind of similar to them.
Okay.
So that it would be her own.
Theirs, yeah.
Yep, their own thing. Because she basically names hers. She's got a regular roast, an unleaded roast, and a diesel roast.
Okay.
So
that makes sense. That's unique.
Station, yeah. So
that's actually my favorite coffee shop. Like if I'm going somewhere to get coffee, that's where I'm going to get it. So there you go. Look at that. Yep. I want to get more into the actual creation process now.
Yep.
So we talked about the business side of things. What does making this coffee even look like? Obviously you're roasting and you have all these how many different kinds do you even have?
I have a lot.
I maybe should have done my research previously, but
I have 9 roasts on my website, 2 decaf and 7 regulars.
Okay.
And I'm probably not going to expand and do more because it just gets to be too much. So my focus in the future is to do more seasonal roasts. So like just now I just posted my, I have a Yule log blend for Christmas time.
Okay.
So I just put that on my website and I had that last year too. And then once it comes to like spring, summer, fall, I want to consistently do like a seasonal roast for those. And then possibly in the future, do like a monthly roast, like just test something different. Cause it seems when I have something new or different on the website, people gravitate towards that. They'll buy their regular coffee that they like, and then they'll want to try the new stuff.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, there's a phenomenon. I always like in that fall time, I always like the pumpkin stuff.
Yes. And I thought about doing like a flavored coffee. I even had some samples sent to my house and I just haven't messed around with it yet.
Yeah. But so, that makes sense why people they get weird in those season times and different months and, the Christmas.
So when they see something new, it's like, oh, I want to try that. Yeah. And it seems to gravitate towards buying more. Mm-hmm. So I think that's how I'll switch it up in the future is like not really make another roast that's permanent, but having like seasonal or monthly signature roasts. Which
that'd be pretty cool. So as far as the roasting process goes, for someone like myself that has no idea even what that stems from, how do you even like start that? Like I assume you have to buy a bunch of equipment. You gotta, where do you get the beans from?
I have a commercial coffee roaster.
Okay.
And I am looking at possibly getting a larger one, but they are expensive.
Yep.
So I can roast up to 10 pounds at a time.
Okay.
But the coffee beans, they will shrink in weight. So at the end of it, I'm probably only getting about anywhere from 8 to 8.5 pounds per batch.
Okay.
And I basically buy green beans from a couple different vendors in Texas and Minnesota. And they ship it to my shop. So basically they get it from all the various countries. So I have like Brazil beans, Honduras, Kenya, Ethiopia, Indonesia, a bunch of different countries. Yep. And then they get it. They pull them from the different countries, and then I just order exactly what I want every month.
Okay. So now explain this to me like I'm 5. You have the beans.
Yep.
How do you make it taste the way you want it to taste? What is that?
So basically with the coffee roast that they had prior to me owning it.
Yep.
There is a certain way of roasting. Like you have to get to a certain temperature at a certain time. You basically quickly roast the beginning of the batch. And it takes about 15 roughly 15 minutes to do a batch.
Oh, I thought you were about to say 15 hours. I'm like,
Oh,
wow,
gosh, no.
I'm like, that's a long time.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
So it's about 15 minutes for a batch. You basically just load the green beans in. They're like hard little green, like tannish beans.
Yep.
And then at certain time points during the roast, you're cranking up the temperature or you're speeding up the process of the beans. And then there's like a first crack and a second crack. So like the beans will crack. First crack is usually closer to like a lighter roast. And then if it gets into the second crack, you're looking at closer to a medium, or if you're like into the second crack, that
dark.
would be a dark roast. But you don't want to go too dark because then you'll burn them.
Okay.
So
no one likes burnt coffee.
No, well, except for my neighbor does. So, but he's weird. There's one time I screwed up a batch, and I had to end it like way too early, like not drinkable yet.
Yep.
He's like, just roast it again. I was like, I don't think that's going to work. So I just roasted it again and like gave it to him because I was going to throw it away.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, that doesn't taste right. That's for sure burnt. And I was like, I figured that. So, but hey,
like, but I like it. Keep burning.
Wanted to try it. Like he still drank it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like super dark coffee. But I also don't want it to taste like watery. So
yes,
people that drink like super dark coffee, I'm like, ooh, different breed. Those people are a different breed. So we talked about equipment. Is there anything else that you had to invest in the business to make it run more effectively?
Yes, I guess I've had to. Well, so initially I had to buy the business. So of course I had to get a business loan for that. But that came up with all of the equipment that they had prior. But since then I've bought I've bought the K-cup sealer. I bought another sealing machine. Like these bags are sealed up. Like they have a little tab that you pull.
Gotcha. Yep. Right there on this side.
Yep. So if you pull that like tape up, you'll see the tab. So those are sealed. So I had to get like a band sealer for that. Cause they weren't sealing them originally. And then basically new design. So, this bag is not anywhere near what it used to look like. They used to have craft bags before with the stamp logo and a little sticker.
Yep.
So I updated the stickers at first, and then I hated stamping. Like the stamping, every single bag was my worst nightmare.
Now they just come printed like this.
So I put the label on.
Okay.
So, and that's not a big deal. It's the stamp. Like you have to put like pressure on it, and
I'm
then
sure it gets very tedious.
Well, it hurts your hands after a while. I would make my husband stamp all the bags, and I'm like, I'm gonna get away from the stamp because I hate it that much.
Honey, get to stamping.
Yeah. So basically, there's a local artist that I use to redesign my labels, and then I purchased those from Nice Impressions downtown.
Okay.
So trying to keep it local.
Look at that. Everything's local.
Exactly.
You're the staple of Shop Local here on the show.
So basically like that. So that took some investing into having her redesign everything. I'm trying to think what else I bought.
I want to go into, you think about that. I want to go into the business side of things. So a lot of people that we've had on the show, I'd say a majority of them, haven't bought a previous existing business. So that's a unique angle we can go at. What did the process look like for going to the bank and formulating like, hey, I want to get this business?
So
for someone that's never done it.
Yeah. So I reached out to Sarah Burkhardt at...
Love Sarah. She's been on the show too. Her and Steve.
Benchmark? Yeah, Benchmark. Gosh. So I got my mortgage through Sarah, but when she was at First Western. Okay. And then when she went to Benchmark, I just reached out to her and I said, hey, would you ever do business loans or are you just mortgages? And she said she was just mortgages, but she knew a guy at First Western that she said would probably take on my ask. Mm-hmm. So I went to, his name's Mike King at First Western.
Shout out Mike King.
Yep. I went to him and I said, hey, I want to buy this business. It helped that I still kept my full-time job. So, because if I would have bought it and then just said like, these are my sales and this is what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
He might have not given me a loan, but I was like,
question marks.
Yep. Might have been some question marks, but I was like, I still have this like steady income coming in. So like if something were to just like fall apart,
you're like, take my house from me.
Yeah. Basically take my house from me. So I reached out to him and then basically just went like, he helped me with the whole process of buying the business. I did all the paperwork through him and we got the other, my neighbor is also a lawyer. Mm-hmm. So I had her like read over the contract, all that. So
it helps having people, that know how to do these things.
Yes, it helps knowing people. And then if they can't do it, they can refer you to someone.
Yeah. Well, and that's what people say. Your network is your net worth.
Yep.
Now, obviously, it's not super, it doesn't mean that exactly, but it helps so much when you're like, oh, I know a banker. I can go ask them bank questions. I know a lawyer. I can ask them lawyer questions instead of calling and then like, yep, $5,000 an hour or whatever it is, you know. But it's nice having those people in your circle. And that's why I think relationship building is so important. As far as relationships go, your support system, do you have people that you kind of lean on when times are tough, or what does that look like?
It pretty much should be like my husband is a huge supporter. So that's helpful. He pretty much just says, do what you want to do.
Yep.
Which I don't know if that's the best advice sometimes, but
like push me in one direction sometime.
Yep. So he's a really good support. And then I have just various friends and like business people that I know from the past, working at the various Sherwin-Williams locations. So I have a friend in Minnesota that owns his own paint company. So I'll reach out to him sometimes to get an idea. I have another friend that works for Sherwin in Minneapolis area. So like sometimes I'll run ideas by her. And then I have a guy that I pretty much was like a mentor to me throughout the years. He just left Sherwin-Williams to become a business coach.
Okay.
And so he called me one day, like this is probably 2 months ago. So I'm on maternity leave and we're just chatting. He said he left to do his dream job and he's going to be a business coach. And I swear, just talking to him for an hour, he like lit a match.
Yeah. Gets you going.
Yes. Like I just got like motivated. I was like, okay, so I should do this, this, and this.
And it's good to have people like that.
Yep. And I talked to him. He's called to check in on me. Like I'll probably hire him as a business coach in the future. I just got to get some things in order because of course that costs money as well.
Yep.
But just like I'd run ideas by him and he's like, well, you have the answers. Why don't you just do it? I'm like, oh yeah. Why don't I just do it?
Sometimes it takes the thought process of actually talking through it with somebody.
Yep.
A lot of times it's in your head and you're like, oh, I should do this. And then whether it's an hour-long phone call or a half hour and you talk about it, you're like, this makes so much more sense when I put it out into the world.
Yep, exactly. So it's good to have friends or people like a support system out there that like talking business and want to actually have you do well. Because you'll learn throughout the years too, like some of your friends might not be business minded and they don't really care.
Yeah.
So you got to find those
speaking gibberish to them.
Yep. So you got to find those people that are like motivated and enjoy talking about it. And those are the ones that are going to support you.
There you go. That's the advice. Get a support group or people that like the same things you do. Only a couple more questions here for you. What do you enjoy about the business process, the day to day? Do you like the business or do you like the roasting side more?
I like the roasting side more. I like the roasting side and I like experimenting with new coffee beans. So like I'm actually going to have some sample beans sent to me. I just ordered my beans last week. So when they come in, they're going to send like 3 sample sizes that I'm going to just play around with. Yeah. But I just like tasting different coffees. Like I like, of course, my regulars as well, but I like
staples.
I like messing around with the different beans and what they taste like and what blends well with other beans. So that's probably my favorite part. But then of course, I mean, sales. Yeah. To keep you going.
It's always fun when you just see, a new sale or, you land a new client or whatever it is. It's always gets you a little bit of a rush.
Yep.
So what would be your Mount Rushmore business advice? We ask this to every guest. Top 4 pieces of advice for someone that's starting a business tomorrow or just started.
Yep. So I'd say the networking piece, kind of what we talked about before, getting to know people in your area, having a support system, networking, because someone knows someone who knows someone. It's crazy. Like, especially in Minot. So, because it's a big town, but it's also a small town, but everyone knows everyone. It's kind of weird.
It's a web. Everybody knows everybody. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's kind of crazy. So I'd say for sure, networking, get your face out there, talk about your business, and try to support other businesses as well while you're at it.
Perfect. And then let's see, last question I got for you. How are you looking to grow the business day after day? What's your North Star? What are you looking to accomplish down the road?
So that would be probably, so the K-Cup thing that I brought up before, trying to get that running, but it is difficult because you have to have a certain grind, certain grams in the cup for it to taste,
I suppose, yeah,
normal, and not weak. So that would be one thing. And then I'm looking for larger space.
Okay.
So I'm pretty much outgrown my space. So I would like to either purchase a building or lease a larger space in the future. So I'm kind of been looking into that recently.
There you go. Well, if anyone has any leads on a space for Kari,
yes,
reach out to the show or reach out to her and we'll get her hooked up. But thank you very much for coming on the show. Where can people find you if they're like, man, I want to go check out this coffee?
Yep. So if you go to dakotaroasters.com, you can buy on the internet. Otherwise, if you want to just go grab a bag, it'd be your Urban Gourmet of the Station, Prairie Sky Breads, Project B, and the Market on 4th.
And Peaky's. Or no, they just have the drinks, right?
Perky's just has
Perky's,
so if
Perky's.
you just want to go get like a latte or something, hit up Krista at Perky's. She's awesome.
Boom. There you go. Wow. Little mess up there. That is episode 27 of the Minot Business Podcast. Thank you very much for coming on the show. And we will see you guys next week for episode 28.